What's going on? What's going on? This is going to be time for questionable NFL MVPs. Day 3, 1987. Strike short year, John Elway over Jerry Rice. Now, you might say it's hard to argue against John Elway because he's one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. You know what I'm talking about? Jerry Rice, who's considered better at what he did than Elway and considered a better overall player. And it comes up to even more suspicion because Elway threw for 3,000 yards and a strike shortened season was 10-3-1. And you might say to yourself, yeah, why not Elway? Why not Elway? I mean, it was a strike shortened season. Uh, all the logic is in place. Why not? And usually I might not say nothing except the NFL has always worn their bias on their sleeves. They've been very blatant with how they never acknowledge a receiver as the league MVP. They're very predictable. It's usually 90% quarterbacks, then running backs, exceptional defensive players. It's not your strong suit if you're a wide receiver. So, and when going with that bias, and if he played with Joe Montana and they'll just do this and do that, that's their sense of argument. That's their logic way of saying that. But this one hits a little bit different because it was a shortened season. And Elway's numbers, which were impressive at 3,000 yards, and he missed, the games because of the strike and everything. But it comes with you got to be kidding. Because Jerry Rice that year only had 23 touchdowns, which was a then record. And when I say that, I mean as a receiver, which wasn't broken until 20 plus years later. Randy Moss. That's right. In a strike shortened season. So with guys like O.J. Simpson, Jerry Rice, the records they did were compelling. Because you had guys who benefited from a longer season. And the changes have come across in the league. But the sad part about this is that there was no consideration. Jerry Rice finished runner-up. That's like, you got to be kidding. When you look at the numbers and the totalities and the impact. But Jerry Rice might have taken it personal because remember, they played him in the Super Bowl a few years later and they had an orange crushed him up. So he may not have forgotten. But I understand if he held it against him too, because it's like, whoa. Jerry Rice should have had a couple